Hi, welcome once again to M5's new English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV screen to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well, let's learn English together. Now, do you remember the present simple tense? Of course you do. Silly question. Well, what do we remember about the present simple tense? Now, when do we use the present simple with verbs? Well, we use the present simple to talk about things that are true. We also use the present simple to talk about things which happen sometimes or all the time. Now, let's look at some words we use to talk about time. Words we use when we use the present simple. Have a look at the list of words we use to talk about when or how often we do things. Always, never, every day, every Saturday, sometimes, 3 times a week, every weekend, twice a year, usually, normally. Now, we know that we use the present simple to talk about things which don't change. A name, for example. My name's Gav Duncan. My name doesn't change. Normally, you keep the same name all your life. My parents called me Gav Duncan, and I will die as Gav Duncan. Some people do change their names, but most people don't. The same is true about my birthday. It doesn't change, so I use the present simple with my birthday. Christmas is the same. It's the same day every year, so we say Christmas Eve is the 24th of December, and Christmas Day is the 25th of December. Now, this is slightly different to Hungary, but in the UK, the 24th of December is Christmas Eve, the 25th of December is Christmas Day, and the 26th of December is Boxing Day. These dates don't change, so we can use the present simple with them. Now, do you remember the other thing we have to be careful of when we use the present simple? Yes, that's right. The present simple spelling changes for the third person singular. All the other parts of the verb use the infinitive, but the third person singular spelling changes. So, we say, I read, you read, we read, you read, and they read. But the third person singular changes to he reads, she reads, and it reads. Now, just like the spelling changes in singular nouns becoming plural nouns, with the present simple third person singular spelling change, we also have different groups. Most verbs add an S to the infinitive. Read becomes reads. Like becomes likes. If the verb ends in vowel plus Y, we add an S to the end for the third person singular form. But if the verb ends in consonant plus Y, then we change the Y to IES. If the verb ends in SS or X or CH or SH or O, then we add ES to the end of the infinitive to make the third person singular form. Magic. Enchanting. Now, today we're going to look at something different. Today we're going to look at the present continuous tense. What's that, Gav? Another tense? My God, are you mad? No, I'm not mad. The present continuous tense is a very useful tense, and we need to learn it. The present simple tense is useful, but, well, it's not enough to learn the present simple. We also need to learn other tenses, and the present continuous is the best place to start. We use the present continuous tense to talk about now, about what is happening now. If something is happening now, we need the present continuous tense. I'm talking to you. That sentence is the present continuous. I'm talking to you now, so I'm using the present continuous. I'm standing in front of a camera. Again, what tense is that? That's right, I'm using the present continuous tense. Why am I using the present continuous tense? Because I'm talking about what I'm doing now. Now, this minute. Okay, let's look at how we make the present continuous tense in English. Look at the sentences I said. I'm talking to you. I'm using the present continuous. I'm standing in front of a camera. Okay, so we can see that the present continuous is made up of two parts, I'm and ing. Now, what's the first part? Do you recognize it? We've seen it somewhere before. It's part of a verb we know. That's right, it's the verb to be. Do you remember the verb to be? Do you remember the form of the verb to be? Here's a quick reminder. So, that's the verb to be. Remember, all the forms are the same except for the first person singular and the third person singular. The first person singular form, I, is am. The third person singular form, he, she, it, is. Okay, so to make the present continuous, we first need the verb to be. In the example sentences, we can see the short form of the verb to be, I'm. I can also use the full version, I am. Now, what about the next part of the present continuous? Talking, using, standing. We add ing to the infinitive. So, to make the present continuous, we start with the verb to be in the correct form. I am, you are, he, she, it is, we are, you are, or they are. And then we add a verb with ing. So, I am talking, or I'm talking. You are watching TV, or you're watching TV. I am standing in a studio, or I'm standing in a studio. So, the present continuous isn't hard. We know the verb to be, and we can easily add ing to another verb, can't we? Of course we can. Great. Now, what do we have to be careful of in English? That's right. In English, we normally have to be careful with spelling. Remember, we have 5 groups of spelling when we change singular nouns into plural nouns. We also have spelling changes in the present simple tense. Do you remember? That's right. In the present simple tense, the third person singular changes, doesn't it? In the third person, we normally add an S. Sometimes we add ES, and sometimes we change the ending Y to IES. Well, we know about the spelling changes for the present simple. What about the spelling for the present continuous? What happens to the third person singular? Do we have to change the spelling for the third person singular in the present continuous tense? No! All we have to do is put the correct form of the verb to be and then add the ing version of the verb. Now, when we want to make the ing form of a verb, what do we have to be careful about? The first thing we have to be careful about is if the verb ends in E. If the verb ends in an E, like, for example, make, or drive, or bake, then we remove the E before we add ing. It's not making, it's making. It's not driving, it's driving. And it's not baking, it's baking. Okay, so we know the first area where we have to be careful. If the verb ends in E, we remove the E before adding ing. Good. Now, are there any other places we have to be careful? Yes, there's another rule we need to remember. If the verb ends in ie, then we replace the ie with ying. The baby's not lying on the bed, it's lying on the bed. The tree is not dying, it's dying. And what's the third rule we have to remember? That's right. If the verb ends in vowel plus consonant, the last letter is doubled. You're sitting down. He's swimming. We're running. Okay, so now we know where we have to be careful. Now, let's have a look at when we use the present continuous tense. We use the present continuous tense to talk about something which is happening now, right now, at this moment in time. We don't use the present continuous to talk about the past. And we don't use the present continuous to talk about things which are always true. We use the present continuous to talk about things which are happening now. Right. Well, we know how to make a positive sentence with the present continuous tense. What about making a negative sentence? Well, okay. What word do you think we need? What's the word we always use when we make negative sentences? Correct-a-doodle-doo. Not. When we want to make a present simple negative sentence, which word do we use? That's right, not. It's the same with the present continuous. We use not to make sentences negative. So, where do we put the word not? Well, where did we put the word not with have got? That's right. We put not in the middle, between have and got. I have got or I've got becomes I haven't got. It's the same with the present continuous. To make the negative, we put not between the verb to be and the ing form. Like this. I'm sleeping becomes I'm not sleeping. You're talking becomes you're not talking. They're walking becomes they're not walking. Good. So, we can use the present continuous tense to talk about and give information about what people are doing now. Look at this list of verbs and then listen as I use the present continuous tense to make positive and negative sentences. I'm not eating and I'm not drinking. I'm talking. You're watching and listening. I'm not sitting, I'm standing. I'm not running. I'm not cooking. I'm not riding a skateboard. Attila is filming the English lesson. Csaba is recording the English lesson. Modi and Virag are monitoring the recording. Fab! Terrific! Magic beans! Magic torch! Jamie, where are you? Okay, that's all we have time for today. Today, we looked at the present simple tense again and learned a new tense, the present continuous. Next lesson, we'll look at how to make a question with the present continuous tense, and we'll look at the differences between the present simple and the present continuous. I had fun today. I hope you had fun too. I'm Gav Duncan. I'm not Charlie Brown, and I'm not Snoopy. I'm Gav Duncan, and I'll see you next lesson for some more English fun here on M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. See you next time. Bye.